All right, hey everyone. Just gonna do a quick video, kind of going over some of the player-facing things that we do in Crashers games. Just to give everybody like a bit of a refresher on all the mods that have happened, have come up, and all the different ways you can sort of run your character and all the options we sort of have in all the games we run on the server. Right now we're in Kingmaker. I'm a player in one of the Crashers games here, and I guess I'll go over some of the things that every player should probably take a look at when they first start playing on the games, and make sure your settings are like this, are set up just to make your life a little bit easier. So over here we have all the tabs. I don't know if you can see my cursor. All the tabs over here. And, chat, initiative, actors, items, journals. Roll tables, probably never going to worry about that. Cards, probably not going to worry about that, except for maybe if you're playing Stolen Fates. Music, I don't think Crash ever uses music in the system, so you don't have to worry about that. Compendium packs, maybe you might have to look at this at some point, but probably not. But right now, the main one we're going to look at is game settings. So go to game settings. You want to go to configure settings right here. This menu is going to pop up. Nice and big. All right, so this is where all the options for all the mods and stuff like that are in here. For the most part, you don't have to really pay attention to most of them. The ones that you might want to focus on are the stuff that is in core. So here, core. In here's all the basic Foundry things. The only ones that you really need to worry about are make sure Panda token speaker is turned off, which usually is by default for Pathfinder. And then left click to release objects is checked. And that's what you want to make sure. This usually is default off. You want to turn it on if you don't have it on. What this does, it means that if I select my token here, so I select my token Markel, he's selected, but I want to deselect him to do something else. I can just click anywhere, click anywhere here to deselect. I can click him, deselect, select. This is my future animal companion, select him. I need to deselect him, deselect by clicking out. If you don't have it selected, you won't deselect people by just clicking out in the open. You have to click and drag and select nothing for them to get deselected. So, if you prefer that, then, keep this unchecked, but if that bothers you, check it. All right. These things here, if you feel like your computer's not, running that well, you can always turn this stuff down. If you want to, it'll turn down some of the fidelity, some of the animations and stuff like that to make it run better on your computer. So there's that. There's a lot of other stuff here. Some of these other options can help, turning off token vision animation. So what that means is that when I drag my token, I can't drag it right now because the game's paused. But if you drag your token and you move, it animates your vision while you're moving, instead of just showing where your vision is at the start and at the end. And that could be a performance thing if you turn that off. All right. And show tooltips on hover. That means if I mouse over one of these things, they usually a little tooltip will pop. Yes, here's one. A little tooltip pops out that tells me what it does. I don't need this anymore, so I could turn it off, but I just leave it on because I haven't really looked at it on this server. So don't worry about it. So yeah, that's on their core. I think those are the only things you really need to worry about is hand and token speaker, uncheck it, left click to release, check it, performance mode, change that depending on what your system can handle. All right, the next one we want to go to, it's important, is elevation ruler. Elevation ruler right here. These things are in ABC order, so E, elevation ruler, is the first E one. Let's go there. The only thing you really need to worry about here is to make sure that it says use token ruler, and that's checked. By default, this is off. I don't know why it's off by default, but you want to make sure you turn it on. Okay. Let me see here. You could take a look at some of these settings if you want, but if you for some other things maybe you don't want to see your speed highlights all the time. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but this is what that means is that when you're moving, it tells you, okay, have I moved too far? And then it turns yellow, and then now I'm moving in my set. It requires 2 actions to move this far, or then it turns red. It requires 3 actions to move this far. This is for Pathfinder. For pathfinding, if you want pathfinding on, what this does, it turns on this little button right here. Use pathfinding, and when that's checked, if you were to just drag to the end location of something you can see, the game will automatically like route you around walls and stuff like that for that path. Because I have it set to tokens don't block, it won't go around. It won't try and go around a token. It will go through it. Which, if it's a friendly token, then we do that. If it's an enemy token, I suggest you just actually trace out your movement how you want it instead of depending on the pathfinding, because there's stuff from reactions that happen when you move next to people. So it's better to just actually be intentional with your movement when you're going around enemy tokens, and then just depend on the pathfinding when you're going through allied tokens. If you want to use pathfinding, you can have this check and then also just turn this button off, and it turns it off for you in a moment. This really just turns on whether this button is there or not. But yeah, for elevation ruler, the really main thing is just use token ruler and make sure that's turned on. That's the main thing you want to do when you come up here. All right. Trying to think if there's anything else in here. I don't think so. There is something, Doroko UI and Doroko UX. So if you look here, I'm a dark mode type of person, and so I like my my option menu to be in dark mode. I like my character sheet to be in dark mode. I like that stuff. And so the way you do that is under PF2E Doroko UI. Come over here, and then they have sheet theme. I say dark, because I want my everything to be all my windows and stuff like that to be in this kind of dark mode sort of look. Then you also have your sheet theme color. So if I open up my sheet, this border around the front and the top right here, that's the color for that setting. So I have this is based off of, so here, let me move this over to the side, move this over here. Sheet theme, where it says core rules dark, that changes this section of my character sheet. And as I move through, that's all these sections, they're all dark because of that, right? Sheet theme color changes the border right around here. So for example, if I go to red and I save changes, see now it's red. Right? Change this back to black because I like black. You also change it to player color. So I think my player color is green, I think, or like a grayish green. So yeah, it's a grayish green, which is what my player color is for down here when you see your player. All right, configure controls. Wait a second, settings are here. I'll go back to black. All right. Now for looking on the side over here, you can see that being a dark mode type person, I really like the text to be in dark mode as well, the chat to be in dark mode as well. That's over here. I have chat message standard dark, chat message opposition dark. The difference here is chat message standard is whenever you send a message, whenever your allies or fellow PCs send a message, it will be in that theme. Whenever your enemy sends a message, not necessarily to GM, but whenever a GM sends the an attack from an enemy who's considered an enemy and has the red border and everything like that, it'll use this theme. I have them both set to dark because I just like all dark mode. I'll just look at the name of the person to know if it's an enemy or not. But if you want to differentiate that, all the good guys are in light theme and all the bad guys are in dark, or vice versa, or they even have a Discord theme. It kind of looks like Discord. If you want, I use this whenever I play in a a Starfinder game. All right, there's that. Roundness is how rounded you want these things. When you see stuff like this, things like this, how rounded you want the corners to be. That's up to you. And then colorize PF2E HUD. Because we have PF2E and PF2E HUD, PF2E HUD is this thing. It's a different mod, and we'll go over it in a second. And if you want to have colors on some of these, you know, icons and stuff like that, you can hit just check mark. And actually, I want that, so I'm gonna check that right now. And I'll hit save. It's not necessarily this; it's more this. Now that you know, when I click on, don't worry about this. We'll explain it later. But this is a PF2E HUD thing. I'm clicking on my animal companion. My animal companion is not my main character. My animal companion. So when I click on him, all this stuff pops up, which is all the same buttons here, but just around her token. And I'll go over what these buttons are in a minute. Let me see here. So there's that. That's settings. Keep going. Some more settings. So that's UI. Where was UX? UX is right here. UX. There's some stuff in here that you can check to just change how you want stuff to look. Like right now, when I don't mouse over everything, this gets minimized, but when I mouse over it, it gets filled in. That's where it is. There's a button here for it. Yeah, enable compact UI. That makes it so that this stuff turns smaller. You know, minimizes and goes away when I'm not mousing over it, and when I mouse over it, pops up. That's a setting here. If you like that, you could do that. There's also options here to make. Let me see here. Yeah, all the way down here, you can make even these controls smaller if you want, or bigger. Depending on your screen and stuff like that, you may want to make those adjustments. So there's that. All right. Now let's see here. So that's the Rocco UI and UX. All right. So you can go through those and look at and make sure you can customize how your UI looks for yourself, if you care about that. All right. Let's see. PF2E HUD. All right, PF2E HUD is this big on the player side. There's a lot of stuff for GMs, but it's this thing down here in the bottom left-hand corner. It shows me a little picture of my character, gives me a bunch of information, has a bunch of things to mouse over here, a bunch of buttons up top here, buttons here, and like some shortcuts and stuff like that. So this is one of the this I guess let me sort of back up. PF2E HUD, which is all this stuff, is one way of accessing your characters, information, their buttons on their sheet, your skills, everything that's on your character sheet without accidentally opening up your character sheet. So that's one option that we have in Crash's games. Another option we have is called the Argon Combat HUD, which requires you to toggle on this button. So say you toggle on this button and you turn on the Argon Combat HUD. Click on that. This pops up. It kind of looks like Solasta. If anybody's played the Solasta video game, I personally don't want to use this. I think it's too big, but if you want to use this is an option and you can use it. It has a lot of like nice stuff in here, like weapon sets, and you have buttons to rest through night and treat wounds. You can open up here and get some features that you have on your sheet, and say you use actions, consumables if you have any. It's really good. You even have special actions and stuff like that. You can hit edge and even have reactions here that you would normally have and stuff like that. It's actually very, very good. So if you want to use this, you could definitely use it. There's a little up here that gets you all your skills and your saves. So you can use this to click on your, like if I need to make a fortitude save, I can just click fortitude there, and roll. It's pretty nice and clean. All right. So that's that one. If you don't want it, you can turn it off like that. If you want to use this one, which I like using because it's smaller, it's sort of similar same thing, but it's just a bunch of everything's. It's a big buttons with names on it. It's more symbols, and because I'm more familiar with the system a little bit now and running it as a GM and stuff like that, a lot of these symbols are familiar for me. So like all this right here, this is fortitude right here, and you can mouse over it to see reflex, will, and then if I want to do fortitude, I can click that, and the little window pops up, and I can click it to do the fortitude save. Oh, nat 20. Look at that. Perception checks, you can click it for that. Stealth checks, athletics checks, these are quick stuff for there. What they tell you how much movement you have, what level you are. This is all your actions, so you press that. It pops up all my actions. So this is where my weapons are. I can sheath and drop it, put them all in my hands, stuff like that. This is my inventory. I need to look at my inventory. If I had spells, this is where it'd be my spells at. This is skills. So you open up this. This is all the actions that are in the game. So looking at this is a lot. Like, it's pretty crazy, but it kind of tells you like all the like actions that are in Pathfinder. So like for athletics, if I want to climb and I need to make a climb check, I could just open up that and hit climb here. If I want to grapple, I can grapple here, and it also does the normal what you call it. You can do it normally, or if you have map, right? There's reposition and all. This is all, and it goes by what your skill is. So athletics, these are all the athletic skills that are normally basic athletic skills. Crafting, since I'm untrained, I only really can do recall knowledge, but all the other ones are here. They're grayed out because I'm not trained. So craft, you need to be trained in. Identify alchemy, you need to be trained in. They're kind of grayed out. So I'm not trained in that. Let me see here. Religion, I can't do any of the other things here because I'm not trained, so they're grayed out. But the one I can do is right here. So they're all here. Let me see here. So I like that. And then they have extras, which, rest for the night, do your daily representation. They have some aid, earn income, the escape action, which the reason why the escape action is here under extra instead of under skills is because escape can be either acrobatics, athletics, or an unarmed strike. And so, we're not sure which skill you want to use for it, so that you're here. So there's that. And then there's the recall knowledge thing that if you don't want to recall knowledge with a specific action and you want to do the macro that uses all of them at one time, which is usually what we usually do on games here, you can just go over here and click it. You can even change your initiative here before you roll your initiative. And you can do all this without opening up your character sheet. What else is here? There's effects, so you can open up this to toggle your effects. I don't have any effects on my character right now, but if I did, it will pop up and show all my effects. So let me see. Let me get an effect on myself real quick. Targeting this person and we'll hunt prey. All right, now I have an effect on me. If I click here, it shows the, turns on and off your effects right here. So this is I have hunt prey going on right now. It's an effect. It's showing up right here. If I want to turn it off, I can just click it to, get more information about it, toggle it on and off. If I ever want to really get rid of it, I have to go up here and click it. But it tells you at least it's right here. And then right here, there's a bunch of shortcuts. Here's dying, your wounded value, and your hero points. Here's some shortcuts. So this is stuff you can drag from your sheet onto here, and they will be a little bit faster than click on actions and going up in here. So I have my one weapon drawn. It's right here. I have all my strikes. I can change it to damage if I need to just do damage. It tells me my reach is 5 feet with the weapon. And then I can click this little 3 dots to get any more. It gives me a little pop-up if I want to change some more information about it. Like if I want to sheath it, I can just do that. And now it's sheath. Right? Same thing for my my bow. I have a bow here. I could draw it, and then I can start shooting. It tells me that it's 60 feet, and my maximum range is 360 with maximum penalty. And then I can sheath it, do my stuff, open it up to get the arrows and stuff like that. So that's why I like this. And I also still have my little hotbar here as well, so I can put stuff on here if I need it. And then you can also have like a 4 button thing. That's why I have hunt prey here and my twin takedown, which are 2 abilities that I use often. Yeah, so I like this one because it's compact. But if you so that's an option. You have this smaller, but a little bit more. You probably need to be more familiar with Foundry and Pathfinder for it to be of use to you. Or you can have the Argon, which it's a little bit bigger. The names are there's big titles, and it's a lot easier to see what you need to see. It's a bit more user friendly, I would say. This one is. So that's an option here. So those are your 2 options. I mean, for getting to stuff without your sheet. Or you can just straight up open your sheet. So double click your token and you have your sheet open. You also, another way to open up your sheet is to double click right here on the bottom side. You probably will see your sheet, your token down here. Double click on that, it will open it up. And so for those new to Pathfinder in the first place and just need to be new at the sheet, here's all your basic information that you really need, and saves are going to be over here. So it tells you how much your HP is, you're dying, you're wounded, if you need a short rest, if you need to make a rest for the night, do your daily preparations, your AC, if you have a shield equipped, what's its HP. This is where your perception is. If you're an alchemist and you have like special resources, they're going to be in here as well. Your initiative, you can choose which initiative you want to roll here, and then all your saves, any immunity, weaknesses, and resistance. And this stuff saves all the time. And they have buttons for modifiers. So if you need to modify your AC for some specific reason, that's where the button is. If you need to modify your HP for some specific reason, there it is as well. Otherwise, you can just click in and change it here, stuff like that. And there's perception. I believe you can click the number on your perception if you need to add modifiers here for some reason. Same thing for your initiative, you can do it here. And same thing for all your saves. You can click the number to add special bonuses to it. Now, this first thing is your character. This is where all the basic information for your character, your ancestry, heritage, background, class, if you follow any deities, all the stuff you fill out, your languages, your speeds, and then your attributes. All right. Your next one is your actions. So these are all the actions that you should have. This will auto-populate with things that you get from feats, but there's a lot of stuff that are basic that if maybe you just want to, have a reminder of them and stuff like that, you can always find them and drag them onto your sheet. And how you find them is you can hit browse right here. So the actions, you can hit browse. Give it a second to load. And then here's all the actions in the game, even the ones that you're not even allowed to use, but they're all here. So if you know the name of the action and you want to add it, you just type it in. So maybe you want to have grab, grapple or something like that here. So you can hit grapple, right? That's an action that you may want to use a lot, and maybe you want to have it here on your sheet. When you look at this sheet, you can come over here and drag it. And then now I have grapple on my sheet. And if I want to grab somebody, I can always just click this. It goes in the chat, gives us all the information, tells you what button you need to click, and gives us all the rules for it. Now, that's an option of if you have any special actions that you need to have over here. Outside of that, I think the best thing any player can do is get this macro on their hotbar. And the way you do that is that if you're on this sheet, on the screen, you see this, you have this UI element on your screen. There's a little folder button right here called Browse Macro Directory. Click on that. This window is going to pop up. Macro wheel, which I'll talk about in a bit, is here. Click over here, and there's going to be a bunch of folders here. I believe the one that Crash has it in is Actor Interactions. There it is. So Actor Interactions, Basic Action Macro. So you want to take that and drag it to your bar on the easiest place for you to click, because you might be clicking on this one a lot. So what this does, if it's on your bar, you have your token selected, and your target selected. If a target is required for whatever you're trying to do, click it. A little window is going to pop up with all the actions in the game, similar to when I had clicked on the skills, and it has all the actions here, and they're all listed here. It's same thing here, but instead of it being like, hey, athletics, and then listing all of them with all the buttons, it's like, okay, they're in ABC order. So I want to grapple. I go through the list all the way until I get to G, and G is right there, grapple. And then it also has the maps for it. So whenever you do an attack, how you have a less chance of doing it the second time on your turn, they're there as well. So this is like your one-stop shop for all your basic actions. It's very easy. I still have problems sometimes when I open this up and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff here, and I need to find reposition, and I'm like looking for it and I can't find it. And I feel embarrassed that I'm struggling to find reposition, and it's up here, right? And then if I just because it moved to here because the window is smaller, and then maybe the window is bigger, and then now I'm looking for reposition. It was up here last time, I don't see it anymore. Now it's over here. So it's understandable if it takes you some time to find it. It's okay. Everybody on it, we all get it. So there's that. So yeah, I mean, this is one of your main things to use. Definitely get it. Crash has another thing that I think it's more GM friendly than it is player friendly. But players, if you want, if you want to use it, you can use it, and that's the macro wheel. So if you click with your middle mouse button on your mouse anywhere out here in the open, click it. Click it. This macro wheel shows up, and he has it set up with like there's a lot of icons here that don't make sense too much for me, but probably. So there's like this one, player actions. I guess he has a weird Black Knight chest check. All those macros are here, including the basic action macro. And there's a lot of extra stuff here, like if I want to do a climb check, it's there. If I want to change the color of my aura, do a color aura. If I want to demoralize, try and do a feint. I don't know what I don't know what these are. Raise a shield, that's there. I set myself to use my reaction. Blah blah blah. So there's a lot of stuff here that he has set up. You feel free to use it if you like using the macro wheel. By default, it's this size. It's kind of small. And with using this thing, the way it works is that you want to, once you find the thing, roughhousing, then you want to go out and then find the thing you want to do. You never want to go back and cross it because then you're just going to close something and open up again. So you want to, this has a lot of stuff. So I go out and I need to go around to get to it, around to here. I don't want to go through because then I might, reduce it and open up another thing. And then when you're done, you can just left click out anywhere and it goes away. So that's a no way. Oh yeah, we were going over the character sheet. So let me go back to the character sheet. So actions. All your actions should be here. If you get any reactions, they'll be here. Any free actions, they'll be here. And when we get here, when you draw your hero cards, they'll be here. This is where all your actions are. You most likely be on this sheet for most time when you're in combat, and then for most of the time. There's also tabs up here for encounter. So when we're in a combat, this is where the tab you're most likely to be using. Exploration, when we're not in combat, you might come over here and activate one of these things when you're asked to do an exploration action. Downtime, you can also have some stuff down here when you're doing downtime. And I usually just keep them here just so I have quick access to the rules of these downtime things when they show up. Just so I know, these are the things that I might be doing. I might be doing some subsisting. So just so that we have access to the rules, I can just click it and then all the big book of subsisting shows up and we can take a look at it as a group. I'll go ahead and delete, clear out this chat a bit. All right, so there's that. Let me see here. All right, next up is inventory. Again, with exploration and downtime, you got to hit browse to add these actions in. And so, what I showed you before, you would do the same thing. All right, inventory. This is your inventory. You can search your inventory. It shows you how much gold you have. Everything is broken down within its categories. You have a backpack. This little button right here opens and closes your backpack. So you click that button to open and close your backpack. You could put stuff in your backpack. In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you can, actually, you go here. Yeah, they're worn. In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, a lot of times for you to use anything, you got to have it in your hand first, which takes an action, and you have to be readily access to the item to take the action to use the item. So anything that's usually outside of your inventory, outside of your backpack, and on you like this, is considered worn. Carry type, it's worn. This is worn. These arrows are worn. These silver pieces are worn. So because it's worn, I can spend an action to grab it and put it in my hand. Everything that's in my backpack, in order to get to it, I need to first interact with my backpack to open up my backpack and get it in front of me and do that. Then I need to spend an action to grab it out of my backpack. So that's 2 actions. So realistically, what you want to do is anything that's important that you ever want to spend 1 action to get, wear it. Don't have it in your backpack. And then anything that's going to be you never really need to have quick access to, put it in your backpack. Now, what's the point of putting stuff in your backpack? You might as well wear everything. Well, your backpack lets you ignore 2 bulk. Anything that's in your backpack, if it adds up to less than 2 bulk, you would completely ignore that weight. And encumbrance in this game is serious. Like you're clumsy, so your AC is lowered, and you have a minus 10 to your speeds, and so it sucks. And so having a backpack is good. So there's that. More strength means you could probably wear more stuff, which, you know, usually is important for people who wear a lot of armor and shields and stuff like that. They need to have the strength to carry all that stuff. There's also feats you can do to increase your bulk as well. But that's your inventory. Spells, if you have any spells, they'll be here. My character is not a spellcaster yet, and so I don't have anything here. We have this spell thing here for Crash. Our Fanspiration system for Crash's games. They give you there's a chance you can get spellcasting for the session based off of what you guys draw when you use the Fanspiration. And so he made this spell thing on everybody's sheet so that they have access to it. He could just drag the spell here, and that's where you have the spell for the session. If you're a spellcaster, your spells will be here. These you have to set up yourself. There's no automation for setting up spells in Foundry, so you have to, you know, create your own spellcasting thing and drag out your spells and do all that stuff yourself. Rituals, if you have any rituals for your game, you're gonna have to add them here yourself. Activations, if you have a staff or scrolls and you're a spellcaster, this will auto-populate with your staff that you attune to or invest in for the day, and any scrolls you have worn. Right. Crafting, if you're a crafter and you have formulas, they'll all pop up here, and this is where you can do the crafting mini game to craft. Proficiencies, this is the other most important tab you'll be on your character sheet, which is called proficiencies. This is where all your skills are, your lower skills, all your proficiencies for weapons and stuff, your defensive, your spellcasting, your class DC. So whenever somebody asks you for a check, you can always come to this, open up your sheet, come to this tab, and click on one of these buttons for the check. So this is where you'll be. Again, this is also not fully automated. So when you first create your character, you're gonna have to go here and adjust what skills you are trained. You click on here, hit the little drop down, and click on what it's supposed to be. So I'm trained in acrobatics, so I went here and clicked train. So I'm trained in acrobatics for my character when I created them. Same thing, and then, you know, I'm untrained in crafting, so that's why it's untrained. I had set that myself. All right. So that's this second most important. Probably the actions and proficiencies. Those are the ones you're gonna be flipping back and forth to the most. All right. Feats. This is the feat tab. It looks like a medal. This is where all your feats are. As you level up, these class features will automatically populate with whatever you need to get for your class, and then new slots will open up in ancestry, class feats, archetype feats, and skill feats as they become available. We have a level up wizard, so this is another way you can help you level up if you want. But either that, you can, when you level up and the new slot pops up, you can just hit the little browse button, find the feat that you're selecting, and then drag it over. Now the browser that pops up when you hit this is going to be all the feats that you can wear for your current level. But they don't consider prerequisites and stuff like that. So if, there's a feat here that has a prerequisite, it'll show up, but it doesn't mean you're able to take it. So just be mindful of that. All right. The next one is effects. If you get any effects, so like when I had, let me hit Hunt Prey again on this horse. I now have Hunt Prey. And so it pops up here, and that's my effect. You can go over here to delete effects, or you can right click it up here. That's another way of doing it. And then you have your biography. This is, I came here and filled in all the stuff for my character, his backstory and stuff like that, where he's from. You can fill that stuff up too if you want, or not. It's up to you. This 3 dots over here, this allows you to turn on and turn off tabs. So say you're not a spellcaster, you're never going to be a spellcaster, and you're never going to be a crafter. You can turn off crafting, you can turn off spellcasting if you want. And so they won't, the tabs up here won't even show up. I went through and turned off Pathfinder Society. This is on by default. We're not playing in Pathfinder Society in Crash's game, so I just turned that off. All right. And that's your character. Your hero points are up here, right? So, whenever we start a game, we usually start off with 2, so make sure you remove and fill that up. And I think that's the character sheet. So yeah, there's that. So overall, so we have, there's really, I believe there's actually a 4th way. Hold on, because I have it turned off on myself. Let me go ahead and turn this on. PF2E HUD. This is not PF2E HUD. Token action HUD. Token action HUD. Enable HUD. Let me turn this on. All right, so now token action HUD is on. If I select my character, there's this HUD up here. So this is another option. For those of you who've been playing in 5e games, you're probably familiar with this. So if you want to use this, you can always use this if that is more familiar. I think, you know, this, the sheet, and probably even Argon, the Argon combat HUD, I like it a little bit more for Pathfinder 2e. I use this a lot in 5e, but you know, it's up to you. If you're comfortable with this, then go for it, do it. It has all your toggles and your actions for strikes. It has actions here. These are all the actions that you have on your sheet. The one thing I dislike about this is that it kind of fills in everything from both your features and your actions. Like everything is here. So, and it just puts it in ABC order, not in like categories. So there's that. Your inventory, everything is here. You know, your feats. So they have your feats here, but then if you look at your actions, your feats are also in your actions too. So sometimes, you know, it's a little bit of overlap. Attributes. This is where all your skills are, right? And your perception check. You can spend a hero point on something. There's perception for here. So this is initiative. So you can with Pathfinder 2, you at some, depending on circumstances, you can roll different things other than perception for your initiative. So like that drop down that I showed you over here, you can just hit over here and click on the one that's appropriate for what you're doing. This is an actual perception check, and then here's your saves. Skills, these are your skills. They tell you, you know, they highlight the blue ones that are you're trained in, the lower skills and stuff like that. Effects, if you want to turn on, like, you know, I fell prone, so I need to turn on prone. That's there. And utility, add yourself to combat. There's also the treat wounds and the rest for the night buttons here. The daily preparation button is not here, which I'm sad it's not. So I mean, if you want to use this one, you can use it. I have it set to be a little smaller than normal. You can change those sizes in the settings for token action HUD. So this is token action HUD. This is PF2E HUD. And then this button right here, mouse over it, is Argon Combat HUD. That's that. So find out which one you like. Maybe you want a combination of two of them. Maybe not. Maybe you just want one. Figure out which one you like and, you know, just focus on that one and get used to it. And, you know, that will help you speed up your game. Let me go back and turn this off because I don't want to use it anymore for PF2E. Here, Combat HUD. If you want to turn it off here, you token action HUD core. Over here, enable HUD. I have it unchecked for myself because I don't want to use it. And I changed the size down to 0.7. That's why it's so tiny for me. All right. Let me try and see if there's anything else. No, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I can really show you based off of the mods that we have. Something to keep in mind if you're new, we do have a party sheet. Most Pathfinder 2 games are going to have the party sheet. The party sheet is right here. So you see where it says party and there's like a little picture of a sheet. Click on that and it opens up the party sheet. Inside the party sheet, there's the overview. It shows everybody who's in the party. So that's everybody who's inside this folder, right? Just, you know, highlights their armor class, their fortitude saves. So you can see all your allies, what their armor class is, what their fortitude saves, whether they have focus points, and their, you know, the skills that they have, right? Trained in. You know, some basic skills that they would be trained in. They're also their HP. You'll see what languages we all learn, we all know based off that. And if you mouse over, it tells you who knows them and stuff like that. What party skills, you see what skills that we have trained. So right now we look like at this party, everybody, there's at least somebody who's trained in one of the skills. And then if you mouse over, it tells you what their skills are in it. And then recall knowledge, these are the skills for recall knowledge. So it tells you all the knowledge skills for recall knowledge, who's trained and who's the best, and as well as all of our lower skills that we have. So that's really cool. Exploration tells us what exploration actions we're doing. So exploration actions, that's something I want to talk about. When I opened up my sheet before, and I went over to actions, there was exploration, and I had all these set here. So yeah, you can activate exploration actions here. A quick way to do this is through one of the macros. So See how there's basic action macro? There's another macro called exploration activities. So open up the camera, open up the folder here I showed before, open up macro wheel, interactions, I believe it's interactions, or is it under player friendly? Here, player friendly, it's under here. Exploration activities. You want to click and hold that and drag it down to your bar, right? Do that. And then if you have your character selected, you can click this little button and a little pop-up will pop up and you can select what your exploration activity is. Let me open up my sheet. See them here. So avoid notice, cover tracks, defend. This is not specifically related to what's on your sheet. This is just what the common ones are in Pathfinder 2e. And so you can select what you want. And so I'm gonna say I'm gonna avoid notice, and I do that. Now I'm avoiding notice. And then if I look over here, it says I'm avoiding notice. It tells me what I need to do for it. And then my friends can see what I'm doing. So let me go ahead and remove that. Right, over here, even though I moved the effect, it didn't remove it over here because I need to go over here and hit unactivate. So now I'm not doing it anymore. So there's that. So that's a quick way to get your exploration actions going. All right. So that's exploration actions. It also has all the information about our food and how many food we have per day, how much water we have, exploration actions. I don't know. I'm not sure. At least for Kingmaker, this is going to be important for us. I'm not exactly sure if Crash is following the raw rules for this or if Kingmaker has something different. But usually exploration, it just determines if how many actions it will take you to get through a hex depending on our speeds. So our travel speed right now, the lowest person in our group has a travel speed of 20. And so that's how fast our group is. We're as fast as our slowest party member. So there's that. Stash, this is the party inventory. It tells you how much coin we have all together. It kind of parses all of our inventories and find out how much coin we have in all of our inventories. It gives us a number here. And then any items that we want to have in like a shared chest or cart or anything like that, they can get put here. And then there's subsystems. If Crash uses any of the subsystems like chases or reputation or stuff like that, they can pop up here. He sets it up that way. So that's the party sheet. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I think that's all I could really go about right now. In terms of mods for, actually, just one other thing. So configure controls, which configure settings, that's where we went to before with all the stuff. Configure controls, that's all the key bindings. So if there's hotkeys, if you like hotkeys, this is the spot where you go. Come over here, and it gives you a big giant list of all the mods and all their hotkeys. So a common one to adjust is under, I believe we have it under rideable. Is it rideable? Rideable not here? Should be here. Here's rideable. So the what you want to use for if you have a mount or a familiar, and how if you want this mount to like, if you want the familiar to ride on your shoulder or stay with your token, or if you want to attach to your mount and follow it and have it follow with you, there's a mount button. So I think I have it set to R for my mount button for rideable, and then unmount is U. So there's a conflict right now for it. What am I conflicting with? Temporary unhide template. I don't know. You may want to go in here and like find a mount button for yourself. There's mount familiar. This tells you if you have a familiar and you want familiar to like hang out on your shoulder with you. This is a separate button from just normal mounting, because normal mounting, there's rules for that in Pathfinder. Like you have a status penalty to reflex saves, and you can't do any actions, stuff like that. Whereas familiar mounting is just the familiar hanging out on your shoulder, and there's no rules there's no like hard rules and penalties or anything like that for that. So they have a separate button for it. So if you have a familiar and you want that to mount on your shoulder, this is where you can set that thing. And the way it works is that you have your familiar selected, you mouse over your main character and you press the hotkey, and then you make sure from your mount. All right, there's that. Another one is, I believe, fast flip. Here it is, fast flip. F for flipping your token. So you know what? Flip my token. It's F flips. Fast flip. If you want to flip it vertically, Shift F. Flip it up and down. All right. So there's that. I'm trying to think what else. Those are really the two major ones for hotkeys. Everything else will be more of a GM dependent one. But I think those are the main ones. Oh, lean around corners. It's default to Q, so you don't have to change that. Otherwise, I think everything else is gonna be, you just keep with the default settings that come with the thing. The other ones that I mentioned, which is writable and fast flip, you may want to change, and then possibly follow me. So this is also another one. F and fast flip conflict with each other. Follow me is kind of like writable, but instead of you mounting the character, you just trail behind him. So maybe you have to step away and you want to follow somebody that are with the group, and you have to step away. I mean, you're still on your headset is on, you still have access to your mic, but you have to step away for a second. You still want to listen in, and you don't want to get your character left behind. You can target somebody and hit and follow them. So you may want to go through and pick what hotkey you want to use for these. So I think what I want for we'll change this one to M for myself. What is M conflicting with? Macro wheel? Oof. I'm gonna go ahead and change that. I just want middle mouse button for macro wheel. So let me find macro wheel. We'll just trash that keybind. All right, and then now if I want to follow somebody, I can hit them and hit M, and now it says I'm following Echo, and then I hit M again. I'm following behind him, but once I move my character, it will stop following. All right. So yeah, follow me is now M, and now my flipping my token is F, which still works. All right, and we're good. All right. I think that's pretty much covers it myself. And anybody, if you're on the server and you ever have questions about any of this stuff, I'm always willing to answer any questions, and you can always ask in the Pathfinder or the Foundry channel on the server, and people are more likely to help you with basic Foundry stuff and how to do stuff on your sheet and stuff like that, and what's the best way to do that stuff. So don't be afraid to ask. We're all glad to help. No one's gonna think you're anything less of you or anything like that. It's okay. We all started somewhere. We all did not know how to do stuff. I still forget to do stuff, and a lot of stuff is brand new for me as well. So don't hesitate to try and ask for help. And all right, well, I think that's it. Alrighty, take care.